Hi, good afternoon, everyone. In this video, I would like to continue on with the US30 tracking. So in the past video, I had highlighted that the US30 was on a bear trend to the downside, and I was suspecting my next target to be around 34.33. We can see now in the future of that video post analysis that price did play out exactly as I had expected it in the previous video. Now I want to follow up with the current trend, and I want to make my projections towards where I believe price is going to go next based off of my technical analysis and my fundamental bias. So right now we're looking at US30. Let's go back in time just so I can catch you all up with an example of where we were at before this happened. In the previous video, I had highlighted that basically price had the chance to bounce above 34,821. If it did, price was going to do a false breakout towards the upside and potentially continue on. So now when I place my cars here so you all can see where I'm at on the chart, you can see price did make a slight false breakout, hit 35 flat psychological area, and continue on. Afterwards, price did bounce around that area, creating an intraday range, and that's what we see right now. And then it went and hit my target number 1. If you have not seen target number 1, I'm going to actually list in the description of this video, I'm going to list the exact video that basically broke down this exact entire move. It's publicly on my YouTube, so this is not included in a course. It's a public video. I made it for everyone just so I can broadcast and showcase my skill and show everyone in the world that what I'm teaching is actually legitimate in real time. So I did do a recording, and the video is going to be in the description, but I highlighted the take profit zone and everything that did play out to this day. So now I want to continue on with the tracking. So we have a demand zone slightly below, and I want to start this off with clean chart hygiene, by the way. So I'm actually going to eliminate and erase all of the marks that I had on my chart. I'm now going to mark a clean demand zone. I'm going to show you all where I'm going to put that. New demand zone is where multiple pivot points had hit in the past. So we can see pivot 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the past. So this area is now what we're going to call a major area of demand on the intraday. So we're going to highlight the major area of demand, and now we're going to look at that. Now we're going to look to the left, and we're going to see a major area of supply. We look to the left of the chart. We don't need to really change any settings as far as our zoom goes. It's going to become intuitive over time for you all. So if it's a little fast moving for you, just rewatch the video, and I promise you over time it'll become more understandable. But let's pick up the pace. So you look to the left, you see that there's multiple pivots hitting that demand or new supply zone in the past. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's over 10 pivot points in this left zone alone. Then it went up, it revisited that area, and that area of demand acted as an area of demand and actually kept price up for some time. You see how it was a valid area. So if you were to sell it and buy it back here, you would actually be able to profit on the way back up. So this was all a counter move and also a trend move. Counter moves will be explained later on in the course and how to capitalize on counter trend trading. But in this specific video, I just wanted to go over the trend trading part. So right now we do see a continuation of that downtrend. So the demand zone was respected. It bounced off of that once, and then the demand zone was retested, and actually it crashed through, showing that the demand zone became weak. That demand zone is now supply. So on the chart, I'm going to mark that off as a major area of supply. Here's a saying that you guys should all mark down in your notes. Old supply becomes demand, old demand becomes supply. Always remember that. So in this case, we have old demand that was tested and it became supply. Now we have a new demand, which is what I marked out earlier in the video. Then we went back up, we retested the old demand, it had a false breakout to the upside, and then it went and crashed back down within the range. We could see that price continued to follow along, and it actually went down, and it completed the pattern that I had highlighted from the day before. The pattern I had highlighted, now that I have everything clearly explained, was a Fibonacci retracement. I explained that from 35,410 all the way down to 34,312, that was going to be a range that we would be looking at. I explained in the previous video that once this was to be broken, we do suspect price to hit target 1 at 34,312, in which it did successfully. Now we see that price is trending below 34,312, which is creating a new downtrend. This is what I call tracking 101. So now we're going to create new pivots, and I'm going to highlight the next move. And on Monday, because it's now currently Saturday, so give it the weekend, but on Monday I will follow up with you all on the continuation of this. And a matter of fact, let's just get started on this. So we see pivot 1 is around 34,599, which is also a psychological area, because right above that is 35 flat or 34.6. So all of these are psychological zones. I'll explain that in a later video. Right now though, we're going to mark that up. So I'm going to go to tools. I'm going to insert shapes, rectangle. And I'm just going to highlight that area where I see that there's a pivot. And then there's a pivot low right here. So I'll also, once again, I'm going to insert shapes, rectangle. So now we have a pivot high and pivot low. The problem is we don't know where it's going on the macro. So we're going to zoom out to the macro, and we're going to look at the 4-hour to look at our next potential target zone. I'm going to use the trend line tool, and I see that there's multiple pivots hitting down below, as you all can see right here. Multiple pivots, 1, 2, 3, 4 major area times it hit a major area of demand and it bounced off. So that's going to be our next target zone. So in the previous video, once again, it's listed in the description below. You can see that I already collected profit. Now I'm going to collect the remainder of my profits. It's the weekend, so I'm unable to take the trade, but you all can see where I'm aiming for next is 33,670. Now in the previous video, I had a one standard lot for the US30, and it was around this price, around 34.8, 35 flat was where I entered that one standard. Before that, I had 2 standards, and I was above 35,586. So you can see along the trend on the way down, I periodically collected my profits, and I let the rest of the trend drip to my ultimate target. So if there is any move against me, I can actually play defense as well, and I could actually lock in some new orders because I already closed out some winners down below. So as you can see, I'm actually winning while the market trends, ranges, or whatever the condition it is. I'm collecting money on the way to my long-term target. So in this video, I put together pivot points, supply and demand, and short-term targets, along with connecting it to the longer-term target. If you did not watch the previous videos, I did highlight that this was going to be my target number 2, and right now we have achieved target number 1. Lastly, I want to go into the 15-minute time frame, which is an intraday trading, and actually break down the intraday trade for you all and start to introduce intraday trading to everyone. So right now we're going to go to the right side of the chart where we can actually see where I highlighted those rectangles. On this right side of the chart, we can see that price, we can see more detail pretty much, which is why I like using the smaller time frame. The bigger one is to show us our bias and our long-term direction, and the smaller time frames is to show us more detail, just so we can apply more precision. So right now I'm in the 5-minute time frame, and we can see that the area of supply that I highlighted was respected multiple times within that day. So that is a major area that we're looking at. So what had happened after my take profit zone was price hesitated for some time before creating a new downtrend. This downtrend is definitely going to continue on, but it definitely looks a little weak right now. I will also show you all how to identify the weakness and strength of a trend later on in the course, because there's ways you can tell when there's 3 different types of pullbacks I want to teach you all about: type A, type B, and type C pullbacks. Type A pullbacks are the weakest pullbacks. Type C pullbacks are the strongest pullbacks. Right now we're looking at a type B pullback. So right now it's a very strong pullback, and there's a probability of price going back up and retesting 34,394. So at this point, we're actually going to wait for price to make up its mind, which is also why I have a 0.50 now, because my certainty has gone down now that price is actually matured. Anything can happen along the way in a mature trend, and those are some of the most dangerous trends to trade, is a matured trend, because it's highly unpredictable, and at any time it can reverse. The best trends to get in are the premature trends, things that are about to break out or happen, and once again I'll teach you all about that later on. But this video, I'm going to specifically make it for the course, so this is definitely going into week 1, but I'm going to make this video, part of this video, public, just for those of you that are actually watching it. you can know how I'm teaching, you can understand how my concepts are. And this is a well put out video for those of you that are listening. You could start to understand that I'm the real deal. I really do this. I'll read to you the narrative of the charts. Any chart that you put in front of my face, I'll read to you the narrative. And that's a difference in my course, is that I actually read the narrative of the course to you all. So if you're interested, and once again, if you're interested, you can go to, sorry about that, this is another website, but basically you can go to the mastertradersguild.com and you could pre-register for this course. I'm actually, I don't know why it's showing this, but pretty much, yes, go to the mastertradersguild.com, MASTER, tradersguild.com, and you can pre-register for this course. The link is going to be in the description as well, and it will be released in a couple days. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Pre-register now for a great offer that will not be presented to you upon the release of the course. So that's the importance of pre-registering now. Once again, the link is down below in the description. I hope that you all have taken away some great pointers from this video. And if you are in the academy already and you're watching this video, click on the next one so you can get some further updates on the future of this trend. So like I said before I go, my analysis and my forecast is that price has a higher probability now of climbing and hiking up to 34.4 before continuing on its move. Once it reaches 34.4, it could potentially break out to the upside and retest 34.8 before continuing on down, or it can go and continue on to the downside around 33.6. That's my next projections on this tracking of the US30 pair. I will follow up with you all on Monday. Have a good one. Have a great weekend and trade safe.